an enjoyable, laid back kind of show. But overall, we're going to, yeah, we're going to start getting more in the mix here. But let's talk a little bit about the draft. Let's talk a little football.
Sure.
I go Jamar Chase. You go Bijan Robinson over Gibbs, over Barkley. Are you dead set on Bijan as your number one running back, or is it just an exposure thing, or what are your thoughts?
It's a little bit of both, but I am very confident in Bijan Robinson being my number one ranked running back. That's not something that's going to change for me, barring obviously some kind of injury, God forbid. But no, I like Bijan Robinson. I think it's going to be tough to replicate the touches for Saquon Barkley if you account what he did during the regular season and the playoffs. And then Jahmyr Gibbs, listen, it could be nothing, it could be something, but I think the fact that he is now going to have a new offensive coordinator. He's going to have some new faces on the coaching staff. That could be something. Again, could be nothing, but for now, I'm going to go Bijan. I will just say, I've been doing, because I'm a best ball junkie, I've been doing these drafts for a while now. And I did a draft yesterday, and I'm doing this one right now. This is the first two drafts where I see Barkley dropping outside the top two, which I think is interesting. And that other draft yesterday that I did, I wasn't picking in the top two where I could have dictated that. So, but yeah, no, Bijan's my number one running back.
Yeah, I have Bijan as my 101 as well. I put out a post today, and I'm trying to pull it up really quick, but
Mm.
Bijan Robinson, in the last 5 years, well, since 2015, actually. So that's 9 years because 2025 hasn't been played yet. So last 9 years,
Right.
only five running backs um, have had 60 receptions with a total of 85 rushing yards per game in a single season. CMC did it twice in 2019 and 2023, and then it was Le'Veon Bell in 2016 and Ezekiel Elliott in 2018, and we haven't really seen that since. And Bijan Robinson last season in 2024 joins that list, so he's one of only five guys since 2015 that has had 60 receptions with 85 rushing yards per game. And I think that offense is only going to get better. With Penix, I'm not necessarily like the biggest Michael Penix believer, but I certainly think that the offense looked much more competent last year with him at the helm.
And I'll just say one other thing about Bijan as this draft gets ready to roll back our way. Bijan Robinson, even though he didn't have a game with 20 plus fantasy points until week 6 last year, he was the only running back in fantasy football, this is PPR scoring, to finish with 10 games with 20 or more points. You got
Mhm.
guys like Derrick Henry, Josh Jacobs, Devon Achan, and they all finished with 8. Saquon Barkley, ironically enough, had 7 games of 20 or more, but he also had 5 games of 30 or more. So, but yeah, just another little interesting thing about Bijan last year, and yeah, I like him, and I'm a little worried again about Saquon Barkley replicating those touches. He's not going to fall off the face of the earth, but between that and the tush push, Bijan's my number one running back.
Yeah, we've also seen Bijan 58 and 61 receptions in the last two seasons, which I think is pretty impressive as well. I think he provides a pretty good floor there where you could probably assume he's going to get 50 catches every year, at least this year, unless there's a change. But there was no offensive coordinator change. There wasn't any major changes outside of course, Michael Penix is now likely to be the full time starter. But honest to God, I mean, with Cousins still on the roster, if this team is a contender, it would not surprise me if they went back to Cousins midseason. If it ends up things are not going well, I don't think that's going to happen. I think Cousins is likely moved. Maybe if there's an injury, in training camp, which we've seen happen a lot. I think Cousins will be on the move at some point.
I am now on the clock, and I'll use this as a way to say R.I.P. to Mr. Jim Irsay. I'm going to go Jonathan Taylor here. Let's do it for Irsay. So there you go. Starting my team off with two running backs, which means obviously